Welcome, bienvenue.
Karibu.
Akwaba. Welcome everyone to the 3rd annual Unstoppable Africa, the flagship event of the Global Africa Business Initiative, proudly brought to you by the United Nations and the African Union and hosted by the UN Global Compact.
This forum is far more than a gathering of minds. It represents a bold vision of the role that Africa must play in shaping a sustainable global future for all of us.
Unstoppable Africa needs our unstoppable efforts to driving sustainable and inclusive growth for Africa and the world.
Friends, Africa's not just participating in global conversations, Africa is leading them. And as the world confronts challenges, Africa offers solutions, whether in energy transitions, digital transformation, or inclusive trade.
So we will lead. You see, one thing that we have to get clear is that nobody will develop Africa but Africans.
If we do have access to capital, how are we deploying it to drive the one thing that ensures resilience, economic sustainability, which at the heart of it really comes down to infrastructure.
Everybody is talking about energy transition, electric vehicles, right? And Africa will determine that. We are not going to, again, be poor by exporting our raw green metals. We want to make sure that we are actually adding value to that.
Getting people access to energy, it's also climate action for the continent. We estimate that about 50% or so of the solutions have to be off-grid. And most of that is actually going to come from an endowment Africa has, which is the sun, which is already distributed in a way, if you think about it.
Solar is clearly a huge opportunity. It's today the cleanest and cheapest energy, and a glaring opportunity in Africa, which will create not only direct investment opportunities, but also jobs, because we need to maintain solar panels, etc.
Within Rwanda is the ability to look at how do we couple broadband connectivity investments together with energy infrastructure investments.
Basic connectivity infrastructure is fundamentally important. It's one of the reasons why we've been investing in all these cables, connecting all of Africa with itself, Africa with Europe, Africa with Asia.
We have 42 currencies, 42 payment systems. Businesses cannot operate under that kind of environment, and that is why we have to also deal with the payment system to domesticate all payments. If you are going to trade within Africa, you use African currencies to trade.
This is the only continent with the most dynamic indicators. One way or the other, everyone will end up doing some business with Africa one day, to my opinion.
We are going to have the largest working youth population by 2050. How do we ourselves harness this youth so it becomes a plus for us and for the rest of the world and not a minus?
The most compelling opportunity in Africa, and one of the most compelling globally, is the unlock of the digital economy, because that takes everybody along.
AI is expected to contribute 16 trillion to the global economy by 2030. That's bigger than the economy of India and China combined. We need Africa to have a share of that pie.
AI has a diversity problem. Africa can solve and fill that void by producing inclusive technologies, not just for the continent, but for the world.
Connectivity should become a right. Internet access should become a right for everyone.
Most problems require that the private sector and NGOs and oftentimes government come together, because if we all add what we can add, that's when you actually make the most progress in solving a problem.
Forums like GABI are so critical because they shape policies, investments, decisions that will define the future of not just Africa, but global economies.
The diversity in, our educational system, our backgrounds, and all of that, it adds so much value to any team that we're a part of.
There is so much talent and so much hunger. You're seeing beautiful designs come from these incredibly talented people. We should invest in them because it's going to shift the globe.
African music had the fastest growth of all segments of music, plus 27%. The big thing is to invest in Africa and the right infrastructure, especially to manage the music rights.
Ayo lele, ngana leliye, ayo lele, il voulait pas que je m'en aille, mais j'ai dit m'en aller. And this forum is just the tip of the iceberg of what is coming for Africa. We are unstoppable until we are the potential that we believe we are.
Yeah, man, I try to good again. Cheese. Ngolo ngala ye. Yeah, ngala ye. All right.